A few days ago, Ukrainian counterattacks have ousted Russian forces from some positions in the besieged eastern city of Bahkmut, but the situation remains difficult. During the past few weeks, the battle for Bahkmut has become the fulcrum of Europe's fiercest conflict since World War II, seeing only a slight shift on the front since late last year, leaving both sides seeking a breakthrough. The Ukrainian army has reportedly equipped its drones with the RGT-27S2 thermobaric grenades, a hand grenades developed for clearing bunkers, trenches, and other enclosed spaces that can create a 13 cubic meters cloud of fire for 4 seconds, where temperatures reach over 3,000 degrees Celsius or 5,400 degrees Fahrenheit, which effectively renders Russian armored vehicles inoperable. Near Bahkmut, the drone operator of a 30th Separate Mechanized Brigade found an enemy stronghold, and instantly Ukrainian drones peppered the enemy with thermobaric grenades dropped from drones that hit the Russian Wagner group hiding in the trenches. At the same time, in certain parts of the city, the enemy was counterattacked by Ukraine ground forces and left some positions. "The situation is quite difficult," said Colonel Gen. Oleksandr Syrsky, the commander of ground forces, in a statement on Telegram. He added that new Russian units, including paratroopers and fighters from the Wagner mercenary group, were being constantly thrown into battle despite taking heavy losses. The Ukrainian military said its forces had repelled more than 36 enemy attacks on the part of the eastern front line that stretches from Bahkmut to Mariinka, just west of Donetsk. Kyiv is preparing to mount a widely expected counteroffensive to retake swaths of territory in the east and south that was occupied by Russian forces following the invasion, which Moscow calls a special military operation, 15 months ago. Meanwhile, another video shows the drone dropping the first bomb on a group of Russian soldiers, with them then fleeing and rushing into a dugout to hide. Harrowing moment, Russian soldiers run through trenches as Ukrainian drones bombard them from the sky. In this dramatic footage, Russian soldiers can be seen scrambling for cover as an aerial attack picks off them one by one. Russian units, including Wagner mercenaries, are currently bogged down in a vicious and bloody attrition battle to take the Donbass city of Bahkmut. The battle has been raging for months and has cost the Russians tens of thousands of men for incremental gains. The focus of recent fighting has been centered in Ukraine's eastern provinces, as the Russians desperately seek to assert their control over the Donetsk region. Ukraine claims to have destroyed more than 3,600 tanks and dozens of Russian troops over the past 13 months, using US and UK-supplied grenades, drones, and shoulder rocket systems. Footage released by the Hornet unit of the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade shows Ukrainian forces attacking Russian positions with armed drones. Explosives are seen falling from the drone as they fall on Russian troops below. On the other hand, the footage shows how a Ukrainian battalion in the eastern conflict area destroyed an entire column of Russian tanks using a patented ambush strategy. Ukraine has used drones far more tactically on the battlefield than Russia has. They are very innovative, and drones have become a real force multiplier in terms of giving Ukraine options and the ability to track Russian targets and destroy them. Ukrainian forces have really evolved with the help of drones, particularly in terms of information gathering and surveillance. Drones have really bolstered Ukraine's war effort. Both Russia and Ukraine have been using small and cheap commercial models of drones during the war, especially Kyiv with its DJI Mavic UAV, which costs about £1,700. Scores of DJI Mavic drones, created by Chinese company DJI, have been donated by Ukrainians to be used by their military in the fight against Russia. Elsewhere, the footage begins showing a number of trenches being destroyed before thermobaric grenades are seen dropping on Russian soldiers in trenches and foxholes. Incredible video footage shows how Ukrainian troops continue to destroy abandoned Russian vehicles on the battlefield using drone grenades. Ukrainian troops flying drones over the battlefield dropped bombs on Russian targets in huge explosions. This footage released by the Border Guard Service of the Armed Forces of Ukraine shows a number of targets being detonated. The constant buzzing of drones in the skies amid the roar of artillery fire has become part of daily life for soldiers on the front lines in Ukraine. Drones have allowed Ukrainian troops to see what Russian soldiers are doing. They can fly around, gathering all kinds of information. Drones can cooperate with troops on the ground, who can fire artillery at the right targets. Small civilian drones are no match for Russia's combat prowess, but they are likely to become increasingly important in a protracted war, leaving drone makers with no option of going completely neutral.